A promise made in love was never spoken loudly. It lived inside intentions and breathed through quiet actions. That promise wasn't dramatic. No witnesses, no declarations, just consistency shown daily, in choices made repeatedly. It wasn't built on words. Words are easy to release. It was built on presence, on staying when leaving tempted. The promise understood patience. It didn't rush the future. It trusted slow becoming more than instant reassurance. It knew love is duty, not performance or possession. Love requires responsibility. Even when emotions fluctuate, that promise respected freedom, never demanded self erasure. It wanted two wholes, not one disappearing soul. It survived misunderstandings calmly because commitment isn't fragile. It bends without breaking. When foundation is sincere, the promise valued silence too. Not every feeling needs sound. Sometimes staying quiet protects. What noise would damage carelessly? It understood timing deeply. Love cannot be forced. Arriving early feels wrong. Arriving late feels painful. That promise held accountability. Apologies meant behavior change. Regret wasn't repeated cycles. Growth followed every mistake. It honored boundaries respectfully, never crossing emotional lines. Love without respect corrodes. Trust faster than betrayal. The promise stayed consistent. On easy days and hard, it didn't disappear during storms. It anchored itself deeper than it understood. Love evolves. Passion softens into devotion. Fire becomes steady warmth. Excitement becomes reliability. That promise rejected ego. Pride was never priority. Understanding mattered more than winning pointless arguments. It believed love is protection, not exposure to constant pain. Safety was its language, peace its primary intention. The promise never competed with past wounds or fears. It offered reassurance patiently without demanding immediate trust. It accepted imperfection honestly. People grow unevenly sometimes. Commitment allows learning without weaponizing mistakes. The promise didn't manipulate. Affection wasn't conditional. Care wasn't withdrawn strategically to control emotional outcomes. It respected individuality fully. Dreams weren't sacrificed blindly. Support replaced ownership. Encouragement replaced restriction. That promise chose loyalty daily, not as obligation, but honor. Faithfulness became identity, not a negotiated condition. It stayed private and sacred, not displayed for validation. Real promises avoid audiences. They don't need applause. The promise understood endurance. Love isn't constant happiness, it's choosing through discomfort without abandoning responsibility. It didn't fear routine. Routine creates emotional safety. Predictability builds trust. Trust deepens connection naturally. The promise carried forgiveness without forgetting necessary lessons. Mercy existed alongside wisdom. Both protected future peace. It believed love is work. Beautiful, demanding, meaningful work. Effort was never resented. It was offered willingly. That promise held vision beyond present circumstances. It saw potential responsibly, not blindly or naively. It didn't chase perfection, it pursued alignment. Instead, peace mattered more than excitement, stability more than intensity. The promise knew endings hurt, but didn't plan escape routes. It planned growth strategies, repair before replacement, always. It valued emotional honesty without cruelty or blame. Truth delivered gently heals. Harsh truth wounds unnecessarily. The promise stayed when tested, when boredom whispered temptation, when misunderstanding invited distance. Staying proved devotion then. It understood love matures, infatuation fades naturally. What remains is choice. Choice defines real commitment. That promise wasn't loud, but it was unbreakable because it lived in actions, repeated without negotiation. That vow matured with time, not weakened, but clarified slowly. Experience stripped illusions away, leaving intention pure and steady. It learned love needs structure, not just emotion or chemistry. Feelings fluctuate unpredictably. Structure carries commitment forward. It discovered listening heals faster than defending fragile egos. Understanding replaced reaction. Calm replaced unnecessary conflict. The promise adapted with growth. People evolve unevenly, always. Commitment adjusts without abandoning. That flexibility preserved connection. It understood distance, sometimes necessary. Not abandonment, but recalibration. Space allowed reflection to breathe, returning stronger, not resentful. The promise faced disappointment bravely. Expectations corrected through dialogue. Reality replaced fantasy gently. Acceptance brought emotional stability. It learned trust rebuilds gradually through actions, not explanations. Reliability restored confidence slowly. Consistency proved sincerity eventually. The promise refused manipulation. Love never used silence strategically. Affection never withheld as punishment. Care remained emotionally clean. It respected healing timelines. Past wounds don't vanish instantly. Patience accompanied reassurance. Pressure was never applied. I still feel the goodbye. Not a sound, but weight. It settled inside my chest, quietly, without asking permission. I still feel the goodbye. In pauses between breaths, in moments meant for peace, where memories interrupt softly. It wasn't loud or dramatic. No shattered scenes or screams, just a leaving that lingered, like perfume after departure. I still feel the goodbye. When laughter ends too quickly, when smiles require effort, when silence lasts longer than usual, goodbyes don't always announce. Some simply stop choosing you. They fade through delayed replies, through effort slowly withdrawing. I still feel the goodbye because closure never arrived. Questions remained unanswered, and answers never chase me. The hardest goodbyes are gentle. They don't bruise immediately. They take time to hurt. They bloom pain gradually. I still feel the goodbye. In places we once existed, songs remember us clearly. Corners echo shared moments. Time moved forward obediently, but emotions resisted instructions. Healing progressed responsibly, yet something stayed behind. I still feel the goodbye. Not because I want pain, but because love was real, and real things leave traces. I don't replay everything anymore. I don't beg memories nightly, but some nights remain vulnerable and goodbye revisits politely. It knocks, not crashes inside, asking to be acknowledged. I let it sit briefly, then guide it back gently. I still feel the goodbye. In dreams that feel unfinished, where conversations resume naturally, until waking interrupts cruelly. Dreams offer temporary reunions without consequences or explanations. Reality reclaims consciousness harshly, leaving longing slightly sharpened. I still feel the goodbye when something good happens, and instinct seeks sharing before remembering the absence. That moment hurts differently, not sharp, but hollow. Joy notices what's missing, even while smiling sincerely. I still feel the goodbye, but I don't resent it. It taught me about attachment and the cost of depth. Loving deeply creates vulnerability. Goodbyes test emotional endurance. Not everyone survives intact, but everyone learns something. I still feel the goodbye in ways I've accepted. Resistance exhausted me earlier. Now, acknowledgement brings relief. Pain reduces when honored. Ignored, grief grows aggressive. So I let it speak without letting it control me. I still feel the goodbye. Yet, I've stopped romanticizing it. Loss doesn't need poetry. To justify its existence, some endings remain unfinished. Because understanding requires two. When only one reflects honestly, silence becomes the ending. I still feel the goodbye. As proof I showed up. As evidence I invested sincerely, without calculating escape routes. I loved without contingency plans. That's why leaving hurt deeper. But I don't regret openness. Armor blocks pain and joy. I still feel the goodbye. But I stand taller now, not because pain vanished, but because strength adapted around it. The goodbye shaped my boundaries, redefined what I tolerate, clarified what love requires, and what absence teaches. I still feel the goodbye in quieter, manageable ways. It no longer dictates moods. It simply exists like memory. Some days it's barely noticeable, other days slightly heavier. Healing isn't disappearance, it's coexistence without suffering. I still feel the goodbye, but I no longer chase answers. Understanding arrived differently, through acceptance, not explanation. People leave for many reasons, some valid, some selfish. Not every departure reflects worth. Sometimes capacity is limited. I still feel the goodbye, yet I stop personalizing it. Not everything is rejection. Some endings are misalignment. I carry the goodbye respectfully, without bitterness or obsession. It lives as experience now, not as open wound. I still feel the goodbye, but I also feel growth. I feel resilience forming quietly. I feel wisdom replacing desperation. The heart doesn't forget instantly, it reorganizes around reality. Love becomes memory, memory becomes lesson. I still feel the goodbye, and maybe I always will, but it no longer defines me. It simply contributed to becoming. I still feel the goodbye. When evenings grow unusually quiet, when comfort feels slightly distant, when peace arrives incomplete inside, I still feel the goodbye. Not as pain anymore, more like softened pressure, a reminder without sharp edges. Time didn't erase the feeling, it taught it new behavior. Pain learned manners eventually. It stopped interrupting constantly. I still feel the goodbye. During moments of reflection, when life slows intentionally and honesty surfaces uninvited, some goodbyes become internal. They move inside memory. They stop seeking attention. They simply stay acknowledged. I still feel the goodbye because love rewired pathways. Emotions don't reset easily. They adapt with patience. I learned not to fight. What refuses disappearance? Resistance made it heavier. Acceptance made it lighter. I still feel the goodbye. But it no longer controls, it informs quietly now. Like experience whispering wisdom. Healing didn't delete emotions, it organized them gently.